Hey guys, ready to get creative today? It's Andrea. We're going to continue on with our fishy theme for the month, and we're going to create our own fishy themed habitat. So we're going to make a goldfish in a bowl, and you can design your goldfish and give him a name and make his habitat or his home as special as you want. We're going to be doing one of my favorite techniques of art called resist painting, and we're going to be using crayons for wax, and wax is the resist for the watercolor. So you're going to have a white piece of paper, you're going to need some crayons, you're going to need some watercolors, and that's all you're going to need for this activity besides your cup of water. One challenge I like to give you is to go around the house and find a circle to trace. So you're going to need a pretty good size circle. So it could be a plate, it could be a bowl, but we're going to use the size of the circle for the shape of our goldfish bowl. He's going to be a goldfish in a bowl, and you can make his living environment special for him. So get your supplies ready. I'm excited to start painting. So I'm actually going to be drawing on a half sheet of white paper. You can decide how big you want your picture to be. So whatever size paper you want to draw on is fine, as long as your circle matches the shape of your paper. So what we're going to do first is, the first thing we always need to do when we're drawing a picture is we're going to put in a horizon line. So the horizon line makes sure that our fishbowl isn't flying in the sky. It's on a table, or it's sitting on something. So we're going to make a table. So we're going to take our brown chalk or whatever, crayon or whatever color you want to make your table, you decide. And we're going to draw a straight line right along the bottom of our paper. And I like to make mine, I press hard with my crayon so that when I watercolor on top, the crayon is going to pop through basically, and it gives a really cool effect to your paintings. Okay, so this is a horizon line. Separates the sky and the ground. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a blue crayon. If you have a light blue crayon, even better, because we're drawing a glass bowl. So it's hard to draw glass. How do you draw something clear? Usually you use whatever is the reflective color. So you don't see glass, some light is reflected on it, and that's what you see. So I'm going to use a light blue. I'm going to take my circle shape, and I'm going to place it right along the bottom of my line. And I'm going to go ahead and trace my circle. Onto my line. Okay, so because we know that our bowl is sitting on something, we need to make that bottom part a little bit flatter. So you can just kind of color in and have it connect to your line. When we paint that on top, it's going to look like there's a reflection of your bowl. So you're going to see like a shadow of your bowl down there, or your fish bowl. Okay, so now we need the opening, where we pour the water in and we put our fish in and we put all our designs inside here. So we need to make the opening of the bowl. So what we're going to do is we're going to start along the top of our circle, and we're going to draw an oval. And it's almost like you can stick your hand into the bowl right now. You can see it. It's an illusion. It looks like a bowl and not a circle. Okay, so we have our fish bowl. We have our opening of our fish bowl. Now we need to put some water, because water is the most important thing in our fish bowl for our fish to be alive. So we're going to come a little bit lower than our oval, and we're going to draw another line straight across. It can have a little bit of a curve to it. It could be completely straight. It's up to you. And then you're going to find your white chalk. And we're going to put some reflection on our glass, so when we paint it, it looks like glass. So with your white, I keep calling it chalk, crayon, you're going to put lines, right? It's hard to see white on white, but I have 2 lines that are coming. It's right on the inside of this line right here. And I can also put one coming along the top of my opening. Okay, we're ready to start designing our tank. So if you might have a goldfish. If you do, I'd love for you to share his name. When you send me a picture of your art, send me a picture of your goldfish's name. But if you don't have a fish, think of if you had a goldfish. It doesn't have to be a goldfish. It could be a betta fish. It could be any kind of fish you want. Actually, that would be cool. You guys want to draw betta fish? Let's do that. It's just as easy and it turns out really pretty. So we're going to make our goldfish into a betta fish, one of those fighter fish. You could put some plants in here. You can put pebbles or stones. How would you design your perfect goldfish bowl? Or if you were a goldfish or a fish in a bowl, how would you want your environment to be? And another word for environment is habitat. Okay, so let's start with our fish. And I like my idea of doing a betta fish. So we're going to start with whatever color you want your fish's body to be. Mine's going to be purple. And inside of my water, I'm going to draw an oval shape. That's his body. He's floating around in there. And you can have him any place in the bowl you want. No rules. All right, so betta fish have long, beautiful, flowy fins. So we're going to start close to the top of my oval. And I'm going to draw curvy lines really close next to each other, going down his body. They're really close to each other. You could almost already see the betta fish, the fighter fish. Okay, I'm going to fill in the top and the bottom of my fish. You can fill him in however you want. You can give him patterns. And then I'm going to put another color in the middle of him. I'm going to put red because a lot of times with betta fish, my favorite ones are either like the bluish green ones or the purple and red ones. And now once I fill him in, I'm going to add some of this red into his beautiful long tail. And also I'm going to put a little bit of red into those fins. And remember, you design your fish however you want. I'm also going to take a little bit of black and do a little bit of black lines on top of his tail. Okay, then I need to give him a mouth because I want my fish to be blowing bubbles because bubbles are kind of fun to draw with this relief technique. So I'm going to pick blue and I'm going to draw a little heart. Now hearts are kind of hard to draw, so if you can't draw a heart, maybe you can have your mom help you draw a heart and then you guys can have a combined fun pet together. But you're going to draw a heart right on the very top of his face. So it looks like he has an open mouth. And you can draw, if you're drawing a different type of fish, you can always draw this heart as his mouth because that's what makes it look like fishy. It's a fishy mouth. Okay, now I'm going to add my bubbles. So bubbles come with a white crayon. So get your white crayon back. And coming from his mouth, I'm going to draw all different size white circles. And you can't see my circles, but they're there. But they all have to stay underneath the water because bubbles wouldn't be coming up here. They'd all stay underneath the water. All right, now if I had a fish tank, I would want bright, beautiful, colorful stones all along the bottom for pebbles. So I'm going to get a few different colors that I think are bright and beautiful. And I'm just going to draw along the, actually I don't want purple because my fish is purple. Try something else. And right along the bottom of my fish bowl, I'm going to draw a bunch of little teeny circles. And these are like the pebbles. at the bottom. And they don't have to be perfect circles because it's kind of an illusion. We're going to paint over this, so you're not going to see too much detail when we paint over it. You're going to see the colors popping through, but I'll show you right now. My pebbles at the bottom. Okay, I need some plants. If I was a fish, I would definitely, and I had to be in a bowl and not the ocean, I would definitely want some plants. So I'm going to draw some curved lines. They all come from the same place at the bottom. And I'm going to give my fishy friend, still haven't thought of a name for him yet. Have you named your fish yet? I'm going to put some curved wavy lines down at the bottom of my bowl. All right, so now I want you to do anything else that you want to personalize your fishbowl. He needs an eyeball, you can give him an eyeball. If you want to add other little fishies throughout here, you can. If he has some fishy friends, you can add some small little fish any place in the bowl that you want. But take some time right now and personalize your fishbowl. And when you're ready, we're going to start doing our watercoloring. So you can go ahead and get your water ready, get your cup of water, and get your watercolor set. There's one more line we're going to draw on our fishbowl. We're going to give it a lip. So right along, we're going to do one line on the outside edge of that oval. Just like that. And if you want to add more details with crayons, that's what we do all the detail work before we start doing our watercoloring. So I'm going to add, just so I can tell that this is a table, I'm going to add some wood lines going down, texture, and I can draw some lighter ones too. The more color with crayons you add in, the cooler it looks when you go over it with watercolor. So do as much detailing as you can with crayon ahead of time. And also, we have to think, so if this is our table, then we're going to have a wall behind. What color are you going to paint your wall behind your fishbowl? So you can think of, is there going to be wallpaper, or is it going to be all one solid color? If you do want to do something like wallpaper, you can use your white crayon and you can draw some texture or a design or a pattern in your background. So you can design your background however you want for wallpaper, as long as it's a pattern. But it's not going to go inside of our bowl in here, just outside the bowl. Okay, so I have all my designing done. I'm ready to start watercoloring. So I have my watercolors ready. I'm going to start with my background first. So I'm going to do my wallpaper or my wall and my tables first. So when you're using watercolor, the more water you use, the lighter your colors are going to be. The less water you use, the darker and more bright they're going to be. So because we're doing this type of art, the relief painting, you want to try to paint with a good amount of water. You want your paint to be kind of light rather than too dark and saturated. So a good amount of water, whatever color you want your table to be, you're going to paint right on top of your crayon, and your crayon is going to pop through. Okay. So I have my table painted. Now for my wallpaper, I think it would be fun to have some yellow, like a yellowy orange wallpaper. Switch it up a little bit. Also, yellow and blue look really nice together because they're complementary colors. Yellow and blue are across each other on a color wheel. my hair out of the paint. So when you put them on top of each other, they turn brown, but when you put them next to each other, they look really pretty. Okay, so I painted my background, and because I did the white crayon before I painted, I can see some texture popping through on my picture. So it looks like wallpaper texture. All right, so now we have to do a little bit of playing with our water because we want two sections of blue to be the same color but look different. So the more water we use, the lighter it's going to be. So we're going to start with our lighter color first. So you might have a couple different colors of blue in your watercolor tray. You pick which one you like better. And the first one we're going to do has a lot of water, a good amount of water. And with that, we're going to start up at the top because that's just glass. We know that there's nothing there, there's no water, it's just clear glass. I'm going to do the lip of my bowl and above the water line, all with a good amount of water. So I have a light color blue. Now, when I go down to the bottom part, I want to make sure that water is a little bit darker because there's water in that part of the bowl. So I'm going to use less water this time on my brush. It's going to be darker, especially right underneath that line. I go right on top of all my fishy friends, and they pop through. Okay, so some other things you can do now with paint, you can add some more detail up in the sky. You can let this dry a little bit, and on top of it with watercolor or colored pencil or crayons, you can add more details. You can add things sitting down on the table, like if there's like a set of keys or something on your table, or maybe you can have some cat paws crawling along here, like the cat was trying to get the fishy last night, but he survived. So be creative. I love to see your guys' creativity. Send me your pictures. I put them in the gallery, and I might get inspired by you. So I'll see you guys soon, and keep creating. Bye, guys.